do you like this move? Do you think Klay Thompson kind of as the 3 or 4 on that team, third option, is gonna be someone who can maybe not win you a series, but he'll give you maybe a game in a series where you really needed to steal a game in Boston, where you had a couple close ones, and maybe Klay Thompson's the guy who has finals experience. You're not going to be relying on Derrick Jones Jr. You're not going to be relying on Tim Hardaway, and you're not going to be relying on PJ Washington to hit threes for you. Now it's going to be Klay Thompson, and the pressure is off of PJ Washington to really be that third scorer on the team.
I really think of this as a move for him moving more into a role player role. So whether it's him coming off the bench or it's him, honestly, all he needs to do when they're on offense is go in the corner, shoot threes. And if he can do that at a 40% clip, then they're going to get their money's worth for him. He's got the championship DNA. I like this move for Klay Thompson. I hate when teams just keep it too long. Like the Splash Brothers, they had a great run, arguably the greatest run in NBA history outside of the Bulls. But it was time for them to call it quits 2 years ago. And then he saw the writing on the wall. The Warriors wanted him to come off the bench this upcoming season. He said no. I think, at least in Dallas, if you fit him in as a role player, you have Luka Doncic who will be passing the ball to you. You have Kyrie Irving, who you have history with. So I think ultimately it makes a lot more sense for him if he's going to transition into that role to do that for a team that just made the finals and has so much more promise. They can still get better. So I like this move for him a lot. For Dallas, they get some shooting. So I think it's a win-win for both sides.
Yeah, and I think with Clay, what he talked about and what he talked about with the Warriors is Clay was like, if I'm gonna be able to accept the role of moving to the bench, first of all, it can't be for a scrub on the Warriors. Like that's just not gonna happen. But if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be for a championship team, and I have to change the team that I've been on for a long stretch in my career to actually be able to accept them. I'm in a different place, maybe coming off the bench as a six man who can turn into an inferno on a given notice. Can't really play as much defense anymore. So if he's coming off the bench, he won't be as much of a liability. And then he'll be able to fill in the Kyrie or Luca moments. So you at least have three guys on the floor, can catch fire at any moment.
Yeah, and I think with the skill sets that he has, even as he enters into age 34 and beyond, I think those skills are super transferable for somebody, even as they start to lose their legs. We saw Ray Allen and how effective he was when he got older. We see players like Kyle Korver, who was still successful. So the shooting isn't going to go away. It's just more or less how can they mitigate his defensive liabilities and his speed that he might lose. But I think overall, great fit for him as he transitions into his next career.
And do you think this is like, I know Boston and Golden State was in a very different moment and it's not exactly the same, but can you kind of see this as like Ray Allen's move to the Miami Heat where he's going there to contend? He just thought Boston was too old at this point, wasn't really happy or didn't think he was getting the respect he deserved in that situation. Now he's making a lateral move where maybe in the finals we see Klay Thompson make a shot like Ray Allen did to save Luca, the same way LeBron was saved in that finals versus the Spurs.
Yeah, I think it's similar move. I think part of it was also any sort of animosity he had with Rajon Rondo, which is well documented. But otherwise, he saw the writing on the wall with the Celtics, and he was maybe a year early to it. So then, rather than watching the Warriors be playing tournament teams for the next few years, he's like, you know what? I'm going to join this team. I'm going to make these clutch playoff moments. Even if they don't make the finals again, they're still going to be in the thick of it in the West.
Yeah.
So I think he made that lateral. I think the Ray Allen comparison fits pretty well from what he's trying to do.